Welcome back to TCM. I'm joined by Abdi Noor Iftin. Abdi, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Ben.
Your story has been told, BBC, NPR, your journey that brought you to the United States from Somalia. You're born in Mogadishu. It is quite a story. Share a bit of it, if you could, with the TCM fans.
Going through 25 years of my life with the shifting, political chaos in Somalia, I never expected that I would ever become visible, right, or being known by anybody, right? It was just always a struggle to survive. But the year I left Somalia was in 2011, March.
2011?
Yeah.
To Kenya?
To Kenya.
And from Kenya, then, how'd you get to the United States?
From Kenya, I of course, I signed up as a refugee and I got accepted and approved as a refugee, and I lived in Kenya for 5 years. And then there was this year where I was looking up any way to get to the United States, just any way possible. But there's a thing called the visa lottery program. It's one of those congressionally approved in 1992, I believe. And I signed up for it online. It's just 5 minutes. You upload a picture and you put on all your information. And I think over 1 million people around the world apply to this program. And if you're really lucky, you get in.
So you literally won the lottery.
I literally won the lottery.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, just one thing at a time to me. It all started at this woman in our neighborhood. This is back when I was 7 years old. We're talking about the early 90s. That one motivation, that one thing that you attach to, and I think every child, even here in the United States, has that one thing that they hang on to. Which,
what was it?
To me, it was the movies. When I say movies, let's just not misunderstand. We're not talking about a movie theater. We're not talking about television at home. It was more of a cottage, right? This tin roof, bullet holes. When it rains, the movie. It's not happening, kind of.
So let's back up. You say it matter-of-factly to most people in America, most people around the world, the notion that the local movie theater, this tin hut, had bullet holes in it because there's a civil war that's just happening all around you. Sometimes I imagine very close, and then other times, oh, shoot, it's not next door this week.
Yeah.
So you would go, when it was safe, you'd go see a movie.
Yeah, but this was a leftover. It was running on a generator. It's a very tiny television. The person who owned this place, said, I'm going to have kids come, if they clean up my house, if they do all the chores, you're going to watch a movie.
So this wasn't a movie theater. This is somebody's little tiny house.
That's
with
right.
A television and a VCR?
Yep.
Okay.
Correct. And there weren't many choices. So this is interesting because it's going to lead us to the movie that I selected.
Terrence Malick's 1973 film Badlands with Martin Sheen and Sissy Spacek. But, okay, so back up. You're in Mogadishu. You're going to this little tiny house with the television. How many inches TV?
It was very small. One of the smallest television that you might have back in the 90s.
So the selection there was small.
The selection there was small.
Yeah.
I remember those probably 7 to 9 cassettes always sitting next to the TV.
What were they?
All the Terminators, a Commando, Badlands. We're talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Clearly you connected with these movies, right? So much so that at your earliest opportunity, you started dressing like characters in the movies, sort of, or your idea of close as you could come. What did you do?
Well, I was pretty skinny. I wasn't like Arnold, I didn't have all these muscles. But I was basically like Martin Sheen, right? Pretty skinny guy. And it was kind of an inspiration. Being thin and skinny was not something really seen as healthy in Somalia, right? Because of the famine and droughts and all of that. But the movies were absolutely different. Even though they were action, boxing and all kinds of things, they have become such a thing that we could play 8 hours a day without hurting each other, just loving those scenes and things that we had seen in the movie. They distracted us from joining any army, any militia that was in town, because that was an option for the kids.
Tell me about your nickname that you developed.
My nickname was American, Abdi American, and
was Abdi American or American Abdi?
Well, it started Abdi American, right? Mm-hmm. Abdi American. So why did those friends, like those young 12-year-old kids, why did they give me the nickname? So interestingly enough, this was from age 9 to age 12. This is when I started picking up words from the movies, right? Expressions, sentences. I'm learning myself. I'm learning strengths that I have, which is I can learn anything. I can actually watch a movie, memorize, and repeat what they say, right? And the kids would say one word, and I would say, I'm leaving, or I need water, just basic phrases. And they would say, you sound like those guys in the movies, right? And who are those guys in the movies? Americans. So Abdi American was a nickname that I got, and I was very, very proud. So I didn't know what I was getting into, all right? I'm learning English. I'm falling in love with America, the ideas, the freedom, the democracy, all things that I sort of like evolved from both watching movies and picking up old books that were thrown on the side of the road, right? I had no idea how I would ever move to the United States. It's just a dream that began, and at some point, I was not able to control this dream. It just went on and on.
Abdi, thanks very much. Let's watch the movie. We'll talk afterwards. From 1973, Martin Sheen and Sissy Spacek in Terrence Malick's Badlands.